We are doing some lovely, lovely classical. How are you doing? Oh, doing pretty good. As an old man, I yearn for the minors. Nice. Would you recommend Roland over Yamaha, especially for beginners? No. That is a completely meaningless distinction. The keyboard that you like is probably the best keyboard, to be honest. Many, many possibilities, but that's the honest truth. There's lots of good keyboards out there in the world. Hey Maestro, hey Baby Shark. When will Bro Debussy drop the next album though? That's the real question. You're asking the hard questions, and that's the honest truth. When will he drop the next one? Let's do a good old Debussy while we're at it though. Mark Zuckerberg, yes, that is exactly what this is. Good old Zuck is playing the piano for your enjoyment, so you better leave a like, because otherwise he's going to ban you from Facebook. Anybody know what TV show this was used in as the theme? Or not the theme, but like recurring music. So good, I'm feeling like I'm in the 1800s. I know. Throws you back. It's a throwback. People don't write bangers like this anymore. We got this little transition part. Hey, Osama bin. Wow, what a username. Hey Daniel, glad to have you in here. I play hard rock guitar, but this makes me want to save up for a decent piano. Hi, Root. Good. Good. Then I've succeeded. A lot of those hard rockers love classical. They've got a lot of classical influence hiding in there. Not right now. This one I played before. It's been a while. Actually, I don't think I ever learned this. I taught this to a student once, but somebody mentioned Debussy, so. So I'm just kind of sight reading this, playing it through. Of course. Do you think teachers know every song that they teach their students? Oh, it's all good. Yeah. So there's things you have to know about the piece, of course. But for the most part, yeah, I can sing. Hey, Ramses. This is more one that I am working on right now. You probably recognize it. Just because a lot of people ask me to play it, so I'm actually starting to learn. And I gotta turn the page here. And then you get this whole heartbreak. This part again, quieter. Hey, H. Borzo from Iran. Awesome. Very, very cool. I like seeing people from all over. Hope everything's all good over by you. And then we get to this in part here, which I haven't worked on yet. So let's work on it. How about they do that? Wedding of Love? Sure. You mean this piece, Marriage d'Amour? I don't know how some dude just sit down and wrote some of the most beautiful music pieces back in the 18th century. Okay, let me paint a picture for you. You are a well-educated person, and you basically weaseled your way into a comfortable job where you are tutoring rich people, right? You're basically giving lessons to rich families. And literally, you got the time that you're doing that, and then basically all the other time, there's no TV, there's some limited books, right? And so you're just gonna sit at your piano and you're gonna just keep thinking up ideas and then you're gonna write them down. Also, it's kind of like how musicians these days are live streaming, they're making YouTube videos. All of that would have been concentrated into making music up. Because basically, the way that you would have made yourself renowned or famous is dropping albums, right? But not albums like music, like recorded, albums like physical sheet music. And a lot of it is years and years and years. I mean, like Chopin averaged like one nocturne a year, basically. It took him like 19 years to do 21 nocturnes. So you start doing the math there and you go, oh, actually, like it's just a lot of effort. It takes time. Can one make a good living as a music teacher giving private lessons? The short answer is absolutely yes. It's an odd time right now because of inflation, and the arts in general have this kind of weird thing where in one sense the arts are kind of depression proof in a way. Like people, especially in modern times, because most people don't run out of all their money when things get bad and inflation kicks up like it is right now. You're learning Rachmaninoff now? That's awesome. Rachmaninoff's a ton of fun. Just saw that. People tend to want to still give their kids some sense of normalcy. So like stuff like piano lessons, stuff like maybe going out to hear somebody play, those things tend to keep going no matter what. But they're a little more price weird compared to, say, like your plumber, right? Your plumber can come in and be like, hey, it's gonna cost you double what it did a year ago. And you're gonna go, oh well, because like, what are you gonna do? Whereas a piano teacher, you come in and you're like, hey, it's gonna be 20% more. And they go, really? And then you go, nah, I'm just kidding. I'll keep teaching you. Or you go, yes. And then they go, sorry, we're done. And then you find that a lot of your students are gone. So I will say there's really two basic models, really to make a good living, I should say. There's a couple other models that you could do for music lessons, but you can be a premium teacher and you're charging a very high amount for maybe a very specific skill set. Like if you teach jazz. Jazz a lot of times was a more, I don't know how as much now, but jazz used to be quite a niche skill set, and so you could charge a bit more for that. Especially like if you've got lots of skills, a lot of times one of the classic ways to do it is you get a job in performance, like in an orchestra or in something of notoriety, and then you can use that to have a premium teaching career. So then you charge a little bit more than normal people are gonna be charging in your area. And you have a small lesson studio of like 10 or 15, and then you perform, and you can make a fine living doing that. The more common way to do it, and the brute force way, and you can do this, I never did this because this is so much work, is you can just charge like market average price and then market yourself like crazy and get 40 to 60 students. Like no joke, there are people who are grinding right now who have 60 to 80 students a week. Now how is that possible? Because they're teaching 30-minute lessons, they line them up back to back, and they just teach basically 9-hour days, each put in little breaks of time here and there as you need it. That's crazy, but you are probably making bank at that point. And there's a lot of job security too, because even if you have some lesson turnover, you're at that point so involved in that community, you're basically set at that point. To answer your question, Root, this is kind of opening up the whole door to, I think, a lot of people not understanding how awesome it is. Oh, thanks, Ramses. How awesome it is, how many different possibilities there are in the music career to actually make money. I think what people think, they tend to romanticize, and they either say, oh, I have to become a rock star, or I have to become a college professor, or I have to be in an orchestra. And I think they forget that there is an accompanist for your choir. There's an accompanist for the dance hall. There is a jazz pianist playing at their hotel bar. There's a local singer, doing requests and singing on Thursday nights. Like, all of these things that are the less glamorous jobs are real jobs. They're real jobs that can make real money. Now, I will tell you, I have a lot of problems with the musical landscape right now because I got 5 kids and I also don't want to be gone from home all the time. And music in general as a career tends to pushing you out of your home because you tend to have to play where you are. So I'm trying a bunch of different stuff, but we don't have to get into that. Mila Gross, hello, how are you? I'm doing pretty good today, dragging a little bit, sipping decaf coffee, hoping my brain doesn't hear me. Agreed. Great insights, man. New sub. Thank you, Ramses. Excellent explanation. Thank you, Root. Thanks for subbing. I love breaking down this stuff. I try to make videos about it. I really need to figure out how to do thumbnails and titles. I'm really bad at thumbnails and titles. So they don't really ever do very well. So I'm trying to get better at that because honestly, there's a lot of insight that people are missing. And I would highly encourage people, if you're thinking about getting in the arts, don't let the prospects of job really scare you away. Because there are plenty of different things that you can do to make yourself a living. All right, I want to get this little cadenza thing down. This piece. Use Canva. Oh yeah, I'll do an improv. I will do an improv. I love improvising. Okay, fine. I thought you were being fancy. But there's no A sharp in that. That would be right. So it'd be yum. Da, 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 da. And then beautiful. I have to start playing the piano because in Iran our chances are slim. I just want to start it one day. Yeah, and again, I should have mentioned everything I'm talking about is very much related to the United States because that's where I'm in. That's the country I'm in. I can only imagine, I can't remember who I was talking to, but they were talking, which country were they talking about? I cannot remember. But anyway, they were talking about how the price of an instrument, like a portable instrument, was so expensive that it was really hard to get started with like gigging, for example. Because gigging is another very lucrative career possibility, but a lot of restaurants and different things, you need an instrument to be able to come in. So you need a certain type of startup to even get started. And I understand that that's way, way harder depending on where you are in the world. Bossa's nice. Let's see. Thank you. Brilliant. Thanks. Kate Brody, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. What music do you listen to a lot? Like, what touches you? I've had a hard time finding new music. That's a good question. I'm kind of all over the place. I tend to get into a rut where I listen to probably way too much podcasty information stuff and not enough music. Trying to break out of that recently. I've got my go-tos that have formed from deep amounts of cultural, entrenchment from years and years of listening to it over and over again. So that'd be like bands like Cake, so like alt rock from like the 90s, 2000s. Same with like a lot of grunge, like Alice in Chains I go to back a lot, Nirvana. In terms of later stuff, Joanna Newsom I've been getting back into a lot, although actually I guess that's not that later too, that's like early 2000s. Dirty Projectors, I quite enjoy their music. Very, very cool stuff. My kids actually recently got into K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm okay with that. K-pop Demon Hunters is pretty good actually. You look like Charlie Puth. I'll take it as a compliment. He's not a bad looking guy. I'm not missing an eyebrow though. You want Interstellar? Sure. And that's when you learn that all modern, like classical music is all kind of the same. It's all mostly built around the 4 chord in diatonic dissonance. All right. Well, I should bid adieu for tonight, but thanks for tuning in. Peace out, everybody. Greatly appreciate you all. Autumn leaves. Maybe next time. Connect your stream with MIDI so you can enjoy it even more. We could try. We could try it out. The problem is you got to do it on the phone. That's what YouTube likes.